55 minutes. 55 minutes, sorry. Whoa. Fast pass entrance over here.
Oh, nothing about old Papa.
Hello. Thank you.
Alright, Asante Sana. Now that all clear, that means we can say twin day, which means let's go. So, everybody, I'm Courtney Beth. I'm going to be your tour guide for the next 2 weeks through the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. When we make our way into the reserve, I do have quite a few rules to go over. Those rules are for everyone to please remain seated at all times. That is including the times that we're stopped. Also, if everybody can keep those hands, feet, arms, and legs in the truck at all times, please do not reach out for any of the vegetation around you because a lot of it has some large thorns, and you do not want to prick your finger on a weird plant from Africa. Ooh, that does not sound very fun at all. Also, if there's any lap sitters on board, please make sure that those children stay glued to your laps on their bottoms at all times. I know this is Africa, but I also know that you are not Rafiki and your child is not Simba. He or she can't wait to be king or queen until you are off of this truck and on solid ground.
It's right up here.
So I'm going to hang out right here for just a second longer. While we're sitting here waiting, if you look up above your head, you are going to find an animal spotting guide. Check out all those animals up there. Woo, there's a lot of them. Yeah, we're not going to see all those animals. We are going to see quite a few of them though. And feel free to take as many pictures of these animals as you like. I'll just let you know, these are wild animals. They are roaming around freely. So even if we stop for them, they are more than likely not going to stop for us. Yeah. These animals, they are always on the move. So if you want to take any pictures, put those cameras in a fast shutter speed, maybe even a sports or action setting. That way you get that perfect picture every time. Because I will be able to stop for a whole whopping 5 seconds. And that's it. So we're just going to hang out right here for just a little while longer. We have to wait for the all clear for the boarding post. So just wait for a little bit of pixie dust to be sprinkled on that light over there to the right. There we go. Now also you probably want to hold on to some small items such as cell phones, cameras, keys, anything you got. You don't want anything to fall off of this truck and onto the ride path. There's no way I'm going to be able to stop to grab any of these things that were to fall off. So feel free to hold on to those things as tight as you can, please. Because if you get it back, it's probably not going to be in the same condition as it was before you dropped it. Alright, so we are starting our adventure off in the little Ituri forest. This forest is home to quite a few forest dwellers who are pretty good at camouflaging themselves. It's sort of what they do for a living. So let's make our way on around here. See what we can find. Ooh, up ahead, straight ahead on top of that hill. As soon as we go around this big curve up here, it'll be to your right. These are bongo up here. Bongo, they are also known as the ghost of the forest because of how well they can camouflage themselves. Also the bongo, both male and female are going to have a thick set of horns on their heads. Those horns are there to help them get through the thick underbrush of the forest real quick without getting tangled up. And they go over there to the right. Now the bongo, they are an endangered species, meaning there's not that many of them left in the world, so it's always pretty special to see them. Speaking of an animal that's an endangered species, look over to your left. This is a black rhinoceros. It's always pretty cool to see a black rhino, being that there's less than 5,000 of them left in the world, and that is completely due to poaching. Those animals have been poached to near extinction for their horns, which are made out of keratin. That is the exact same stuff that makes your hair and your fingernails. But many cultures believe that those horns are still, those horns have healing powers. Over there to your right, those large tan antelopes, those were greater kudu. Greater kudu stand at about 55 inches tall at the shoulder. And female greater kudu can weigh up to 500 pounds, while male greater kudu, they can weigh up to 700 pounds. Those back there were female greater kudu, and how I could tell that was because they didn't have horns on their heads. Only male greater kudu have horns, and those horns are super tall and spiraled. They're absolutely beautiful. Up above your head on that animal spotting guide, there is a picture of some greater kudu with their horns on their heads, to the far left and also to the far right. Now now we're heading out of the little Ituri. We're about to go on down to the Safi River. The Safi River is home to some pretty dangerous animals, such as the Nile hippopotamus and also the Nile crocodile. Now, the Nile hippopotamus, that is that's not an endangered species, that is a nocturnal animal, meaning they are most active at night. If you look over to your right, though, you're going to see 2 hippos in the water over there. Hippos are the most dangerous animals in Africa. Please remain seated for me back there. Please remain seated. Please remain seated on your bottom. Thank you. Look over to your left. There's a float of hippos, or a group of hippos. And the water's going to help keep their bodies cool, and it's also going to act as a natural sunblock. They can stay fully submerged under the water up to 8 minutes at a time, and then naturally they'll float back up to the surface and get a big breath of good old fresh air. They'll even do that when they're sleeping. And look to your left, there's a pod or a group of pink-backed pelicans, and no, they are not pink at all. They are actually gray and white. They will get a pink coloration on their backs and also underneath their wings during mating season. Mating season happens whenever they want it to happen, so you can come back out here later on today, and they'll all be like pink. And look over to your left, there's a few more hippos out there on the banks, sunbathing. Those animals, they can weigh up to 5,500 pounds. Please remain seated for me back there. Please remain seated. And look over to your left. Those are crocodiles. Those are Nile crocodiles. The Nile crocodile can get up to 20 feet long. Those animals can weigh up to 500 pounds. Also, the Nile crocodile, it has some super powerful jaws. Their jaws are so powerful, in fact, that they will crack the bones of their prey using a force of 2,000 pounds per square inch, which is a lot. The good thing is, though, is that a crocodile's main diet, it only consists of fish. But if there is ever a poor, unfortunate soul that makes its way in front of a crocodile, such as maybe a zebra or a wildebeest, well, that's probably going to be a snack too. There is always a great way you can tell the difference between a crocodile and an alligator, and that is one you're going to see later, and the other you're going to see after a while. Look to your right, there's a baobab tree. It's also known as an upside-down tree because it looks like its roots are growing from the top rather than underneath it. Its roots aren't really growing from the top, though. It just looks that way about 9 months out of the year. That's because it goes that long without any leaf or vegetation growing on it, and that's just so they can hold in as much water as they can. Baobab trees hold thousands upon thousands of gallons of water in their massive trunks, and when water starts running low on savannas, such as the one we're pulling down into right now, many animals will resort to those trees to get a good refreshing drink out of them. And this right here is the Serengeti grassland. It's just one of the many savannas spanning all across the continent of Africa. The Serengeti, it also goes by the name of the superhighway of Africa. And that's because millions upon millions of animals will travel across these savannas each year, usually looking for some food and some water, and sometimes even shelter. Coming around here. I'm not seeing much of anything going on out here right now. I am seeing some giraffes off in the distance, though, over to the right. We'll get a little bit closer to them in just a few more minutes. Up ahead to the left of the ride path, though, I am seeing some rocks. Yeah. Usually around rocks you can find predators. Most predators are nocturnal hunters. They'll go out at night to hunt, but there is a handful of daytime hunters. So, yeah, come on around here. Let's see what we can find. Let's see, what time is it? Yeah. They might be sitting around resting. They might have been out all morning hunting. We're going to keep making our way around. Look over here to the left. Oh, there's a den over there. That's prime predator territory over there, especially with dens. Let's see here.
On the left is the den.
Oh, back over there to the left. Look, if they're to the right of the den, it's laying down back there. It's an African wild dog over there. African wild dogs are also known as painted dogs because they look like they've been splatter painted with a whole bunch of different colors. African wild dogs are some of the best hunters found in Africa. They're the most successful. That's because they'll chase down their prey until their prey drops from exhaustion. And look over to the left. Those are sable antelopes. Sable antelopes are the celebrities of this reserve. That's because they are the emblem of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. You'll find their pictures plastered everywhere around here. Sable antelopes, if you got a real good look at them, you would have seen those tall, pointy horns that they have on their heads. Those horns are there to help them to deter any predators from attacking them from behind, such as lions. And look over to your left. Those mounds over there, those are termite mounds. They're made of a mixture of soil, dung, and saliva. They are hard as concrete on the outside, though. They're actually even harder than concrete. That's because they basically bake out in the African sun all day long. On the inside of those termite mounds, they are porous. There's a whole bunch of little channels running all throughout them, and that's just so the termites can make their way around their homes. Now, those termite mounds, they make excellent scratching posts for larger animals, such as giraffes and also elephants. And look at those giraffes out there to your left. Giraffes stand between 18 to 20 feet tall when they're full grown. Whenever a giraffe is born, that calf starts off standing right at about 6 feet tall. And that's after they make about a 6-foot plunge to the ground. Now get a good look at each and every one of the giraffes you're about to find, and you are going to see that not one of them look the same. That's because their spots and their prints are completely unique to themselves. It's just like your fingerprints. No two giraffes will ever be the same. Just like how you'll never find another human with the exact same fingerprints as you. And over to the right, these large antelopes. These are the largest antelopes in Africa. These are Patterson's eland. Patterson's eland stand at about 6 feet tall at the shoulder. Those animals can weigh up to 2,000 pounds. Now these are Maasai giraffes, and how I can tell that is by their messy and spotty patterns. There's another type of giraffe found in Africa, and that is the reticulated giraffe. Their patterns are clean and uniform and well put together. Look over to your right, there is a herd of white-bearded wildebeest up there on that hill. White-bearded wildebeest, they know all about migration. About 1.5 million of those animals will make their way across the savannas of Africa, traveling anywhere around 500 to 1,000 miles a year, and they're going to wherever the food or the water might be. And check out that giraffe up there. The giraffes, they will spend the majority of their time eating. They don't have one, they don't have two. Giraffes actually have 3 stomachs, and they like to keep their stomachs full. So if they're not eating, they're sleeping. If they're not sleeping, they're walking around. And if they're not walking around, well, you guessed it, they are more than likely eating. Come out over to the right.
That's a big giraffe. There's another. Oh my god, that's a bigger giraffe. So cute. Over there.
Ooh, and up ahead I am seeing some large trees on the ground. Usually when there's big trees on the ground, that means that there are elephants somewhere around. And that's because elephants, they are known as nature's bulldozers. They'll take out just about anything that stands in their path, including massive trees. So let's come on around to, look over there to your right. He's leaning up on a tree right now, and he's eating.
Oh my god.
That's the back side of an elephant. Elephants like to eat. They eat over 150 pounds of food every single day. Yeah. Oh, and look over to your left. On top of these rocks through the trees, there's some monkeys over there. Those monkeys are mandrills. You probably know and love a mandrill. His name is Rafiki. And just like Rafiki, the alpha male is going to have that bright facial feature on his face. It will get brighter and brighter as he gets more and more excited. Mandrills are the largest monkeys in Africa. They can weigh up to 100 pounds. Now back to that elephant we just saw earlier. Sadly, elephants, they are poached, and they are poached for their white ivory tusks. They're poached at about 96 elephants a day. That's about 1 elephant every 15 minutes. It's said that there's less than 500,000 of those gentle giants left in the world. And even though that sounds like a large number, that number is decreasing rapidly. Within the next 12 years, if poaching stays how it is, then elephants will be completely extinct, unless we do something to change that. One way you can help out is by donating to the Disney Conservation Fund. With the Disney Conservation Fund, no donations too large and no donations too small. Every donation made, it is in fact matched dollar by dollar and penny by Disney itself. And you can head to any of the merchandising locations found here at Disney's Animal Kingdom. And you can help make a wonderful difference for not only elephants, but animals found all around the world. Now, let's see if we can find some more elephants. Look over there to your left. There they are. Check them out. Now it is becoming springtime around here. Usually around spring, that's the time that the bees come out. And the elephants are really big scaredy cats. They are absolutely terrified of bees. Yeah, they'll run even if they think they're hearing bees. And farmers in Africa, they've been having a slight elephant problem. These elephants have been getting into their crops, eating everything up, and also messing everything up until now. Because with the help of the Disney Conservation Fund, these farmers in Africa, they've been able to put up fences all around their farms with beehives on them to keep the elephants out. And it's worked. So now these farmers, they are producing massive yields of their crops. They're also harvesting honey and selling that as well. But for the poor elephants, they're no longer getting their super yummy, inconvenient snacks. And it's not because there's any harm happening to them. It's just because they're way too scared to get to the food. They're having to walk a little bit further now to find a new yummy snack. And check out that little girl over there to the left. One day she's going to grow up and she is going to become the head of a group. That's because elephants, they live in a matriarchal society, meaning that the eldest female, she's the boss lady, she's the one in charge. Once a male hits a certain age, he's going to go off and live all on his own, basically the life of a bachelor, doing whatever he wants to do whenever he wants to do it. He will join in on loose herds of other male elephants throughout his life, but he'll never stick with just one herd. Whenever a female's born into a herd, however, she is going to be stuck with that herd for forever. So she likes all of her family members because she's going to be stuck with them. Come out over there. Now those elephants, they are flapping their massive ears. I promise they're not about to fly away like Dumbo. They're just cooling their bodies off. Elephants flap their massive ears, they cool that blood off in their ears, and then that cool blood, it will circulate on throughout their bodies and cool their bodies down. And look to your left, these are flamingos. They are greater flamingos. They are the largest of the flamingo species and also the lightest in coloration. They get their light pink coloration from the beta carotene that they eat, such as shrimp. Whenever a flamingo is hatched, it starts off as a gray and black fluff ball, and then after about a year to a year and a half, it'll get its light pink feathers, and it'll be matching the rest of the flamboyants, or the group of flamingos. And we are going to make our way deeper into the savannah. Hopefully we can find some more animals around here that call us home. Oh, whoa, I believe that some poachers have been found near the reserve. I'm seeing some white ivory tusks from elephants up there, and also carrots and horns from the rhinoceros. Now, those look so much better actually on the animals than up there on that podium, serving absolutely no purpose. And there is a war on poaching going on in Africa. Even as we speak right now, armies are coming together to fight against poachers to end the harmful and cruel things they're doing to animals once and for all. Many of the animals poached have absolutely no natural predators. Their only predators are humans. And that's something that can definitely be ended. And speaking of a predator, look over to your left. That beauty back there, it's a cheetah. It's walking around.
Oh, I see it. It's back there.
Oh, there's two of them back there.
Oh, yeah.
Cheetahs are the fastest land mammals in the world. They can run at the speeds of 60 miles per hour. Yeah. They'll only go that fast for a few hundred yards, then they will slow it right on down to the slow near speeds of 30 to 40 miles per hour. Now sadly, cheetahs, they are also poached, and they are poached for their pelts or their beautiful fur. And that fur is used just as wall decor, maybe even a rug at times. Useless things. There's really no need for it. The poaching has risen so high because the demand for this pelt has gone so high on the black market that there's not that many cheetahs left in the world. They aren't on the endangered species list yet, but within the next few years they will be, and they will be critically endangered, more than likely. Ooh, and up ahead to the right, on top of this hill, it looks like a rock right now, but I promise it's a white rhinoceros. White rhinos, they can weigh up to 5,000 pounds. Even though they can weigh that much, they can still run at the speeds of 35 miles per hour. Right up there. Now sadly, the white rhinoceros, it is also poached for its carrots and horn, just like the black rhinoceros. Now there's quite a few more white rhinos left in the world, but their numbers are dwindling quickly as well. Before long, they'll be just like the black rhino. There won't be that many of them either. And it's all completely due to humans, because white rhinos, they have absolutely no natural predators. Let's see here. Oh, there's a few more white rhinos over there. Now that's a group of white rhinos. And a group of rhinos, it is known as a crash. One of my favorite group names for animals. Look over there to your left. Look on top of the rocks. There's some lions up there. Lions are usually inactive about 16 to 20 hours a day, usually sleeping, resting, or just lying around. Those are nocturnal animals. They'll go out at night to hunt. The female, she'll be the one to hunt, while the male, he's going to stay behind, and he'll watch over the territory until he comes if there's any around. And look to your left, there's a family of warthogs. Warthogs are some of the largest burrowing animals in Africa. They dig their burrows in their tusks and also use their humps. Usually they'll steal a burrow from another animal that would call it home. It's a lot easier for them. Now let's see here, there's those white rhinos over there to the right once again. You can see them a little bit better. You see how massive those animals actually are. Also over here to your right, there's a zebra. Zebras are in fact black with white stripes, and they have a kick strong enough with their hind hooves to break the jaw of an attacking lion. And if you look to your left, there is an ostrich over here. The ostrich is the largest bird in the world. Thank goodness it cannot fly. I'd be terrified if that right there was flying over my head. They can run up to speeds of 40 miles per hour though. Even though they don't use their wings to fly, they will use those wings to act as a natural steering wheel to help them turn left and to turn right, and to also help keep their balance when they're running at those super high speeds. And we are going to make our way on out of the savannah. We are going to round our way into the Magadi Glen. Hopefully we can see some animals around here in the glen. They call it home. Let's see here. Look real closely.
We can plug you up later.
Oh, over here to your right, there's some birds. These two birds over here are yellow-billed storks. Yellow-billed storks are carnivores, meaning they only eat meat. Their diets consist of fish, frogs, lizards, snakes, really anything that they can find around the riverbank. They like to follow back behind larger animals getting into the water, such as hippos and crocodiles. They like to eat all those creepy crawlies that come stirring up in the mud. But the yellow-billed stork's favorite meal, it's actually small birds. So they're birds that eat birds. Ooh. Nature. Alright y'all, so sadly the warden just called on the radio and said that I've got to bring you back to base. They said that it is time for your safari to come to an end, which is absolutely crazy because these 2 weeks they've only felt like about 20 minutes. Like what? I guess the saying time flies when you're having fun really happens when you're on a safari truck and you're making your way through Africa. I do not know. Now before we make our way up to the warden's post, I am going to ask everyone to please make sure you have all those personal belongings with you, such as cell phones, cameras, keys, wallets. You don't want to leave anything on this truck. If anything is left on this truck, it will be sent straight to the giraffes. And they love to play the game of get it if you can reach it. And usually we cannot reach it. It's not a very fun game for us to play. The giraffes, they absolutely love playing it though. They've got gadgets and gizmos aplenty and who's-its and what's-its galore. Yeah, they're just like Ariel. Alright, so once again, I'm Carly Beth. It was so much fun having y'all here with me today. Now I'm not going to say goodbye because goodbyes, they are just way too sad and also way too final. Instead, I'm going to say kwaherini, which means to go well. So if y'all go well, go wild. And I hope you have a great day here at Disney's Animal Kingdom, or wherever your adventures lead you to. Bye,